All right, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wahawah Kapadash. I want to say and give double honors to the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this word in truth and sincerity and for ruling well. And salutations to the elect, Lord willing, we're some of those men and women that believe and fear in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, patiently waiting for the day of our salvation. Here, I'm our brother Gabar Yahweh from GMS Hawaii, coming to you with another quick lesson. Lord willing to be quick and concise. The title of this lesson is "The Bells of War Are Ringing," and I was just perusing on the YouTube, and I had saw a video, and I assumed that it was a bunch of troops mobilizing, but it was something else. Paratroopers practicing. But one thing about the military is that when they practice of stuff, it's not for nothing. Right? It's always for an intent, right? You practice for a purpose, right? And that purpose is to go to war. When you're in the military, you're a man or a woman in this era of war. So you got to fight, right? And you got a job to do. And your first job is to defend this country. And a lot of soldiers don't understand how this country really works, who really runs it, the operation of it. All they just doing it is for a job, right? The poor always die for the wealthy, and the wealthy don't die for the poor, right? The wealthy, they make the decisions in this world, but they don't have to live with those decisions. Neither do they have to defend those decisions. It's the poor that gotta die for these people, right? And that's what's about to happen, right? We're getting into this Third World War. This is the early throes of it. This is not World War III yet. But this is definitely the early throes of it. Earlier today, my time, myself and the Elder Apostle Gabar and Elder Apostle Ramlab, we had did a video speaking about, are the small hats, Russian paraphrasing, are the small hats going to bring America into this war? And they are. They're already there, right? It's not about bringing them. It's not about coaxing them. It's not about deceiving them to do it. They're already there with them. America and the state of Israel share a close alliance with one another. So America has come to the defense of that Edomite Amalekite nation. And the Amalekites, they have the American political system in their pocket. They're all bought for and paid for. But that's not something the average soldier knows. It's not even something that some higher ups knows. This might be an inside thing, I guess. Right? Because when you're in the military, it's just a job. These people look at it like a job. It's not a noble profession, even though in the ancient world, being in the military was a noble profession. But in this society, your military men and now military men and women, right, they get treated like trash, right? Just a real quick before I start off with the lesson. A man of war that suffered poverty, right? This is something that the Lord hates, right? Sirach chapter 26, verse 28, it says, "There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by, and one that returneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepareth such in one for the sword," right? And let me read this in the GNT. Sirach 26 and 28. I hope it's 28. Sirach, yep. Sirach 26 and 28. Sirach chapter 26, verse 28 in the GNT. Right? And it reads, there are two things that make me sad, and a third that makes me angry. A soldier who has become poor, and intelligent people who are not respected. And who are the real intelligent people on his side? The elect of Israel, the elect men of Israel, starting with the elect men of Israel, right? And we're not respected down here. Just like our Savior, WWIII, he wasn't respected down here. That's why sometimes it amazes me how these people be frothing at the mouth for the what they call him Jesus Christ, but his name ain't Jesus. But we know who they frothing at the mouth for, that Edomite image, right? And they're claiming that they got all this love and relationships with Jesus Christ. But the real Savior of Israel, WWIII, didn't have that kind of love for him, right? They denied him. A lot of people denied him, right? Because they were either jealous of him or they were deceived by those that were jealous of him, right? And they just had a rebellious spirit on them, right? The point of the matter is that it says the Lord said, "What? There are two things that make me sad, and this is what I want to focus on. And the third that makes me angry. A soldier who has become poor, intelligent people who are not respected, and a righteous person who turns to evil. The Lord will punish such a person with death." And that's ultimately going to happen to those that leave this truth to go back into the world for whatever reason, right? You won't be put to death for that. But the point of the matter is, when you look at Sirach, and I'm going to get ChatGPT to help me break this precept down to see what they got to say. Can you help me better understand Sirach chapter 26, 28? How did military men in the ancient I know I spelled that wrong. Okay, I asked ChatGPT, can you help me better understand Sirach chapter 28, verse 26, verse 28? How did military men in the ancient world get treated as opposed to modern times? It says the book of Sirach 26, 28, what does it mean? It says, there be two things that grieve my heart, the third that maketh me angry. Men of war that suffer poverty, and men of understanding that are not set by. And you would think that with such a job or career and defending this country, that it will be a high level career, right? That it will be a highly rewarded career. It is not. Trust me, it's not. Even when you get out, you got to fight for your compensation, right? And if you ain't got enough information to back it up, they ain't going to give it to you, right? This is the key phrase, a man of war that suffered poverty. Sirach was written around 200 to 180 BCE by the Israelite sage Ben Sirach. The book is wisdom literature, practical observation about society. So what are the authors saying? A soldier who risks his life defending the nation, but later ends up poor, neglected, or forgotten. To him, that is morally wrong. A society should honor and support those who fought for it, right? Because it ain't a lot of people that fight for this country, right? And so now, on top of the fact is that you learn that your fighting wasn't an honorable or noble thing. Like Smelly Butler said, war is a racket. He says a racket is best described. He says a racket is best described as something that is not what it seems. The majority of the majority of people, and that's the military, right? The military is not what it seems to the majority of people. It is conducted for the benefit of the very few, right? Who benefits from the racket? Who mono, meaning who benefits, right? The super elite. Then it seeps down to their political elites in these different countries, particularly talking about America. At the expense of the very many, out of war, a few people make huge fortunes. Exactly. Just like in the Iraq war, right? How, let's listen to this. How rich did corporations get from the Iraq and Afghanistan, I don't know how it's right, wars, right? How rich, it says, how rich the corporations get. It says Iraq 20-year war led to an invasion and the companies right here, Business and Human Rights Center. Iraq 20 years on from the U.S.-led invasion, the companies that profited, including companies' responses, right? So it didn't really. It says right here, in 2005, Iraq, Halliburton to build 30 million prisons. Damn, $30 million prison at Guantanamo Bay. Iraq, Lockheed Martin reports 41% rise in profits as arms spendings continue to rise globally. Halliburton reported a boost in profits 1 year into the U.S. invasion of Iraq. And what's his name? He dead now. He used to be the vice president, Dick Cheney. He was the head of Halliburton. So you know he had stock in that company, right? US 4, Blackwater. Okay, I don't need to worry about that. Yeah, so you had a lot of things, a lot of companies got wealthy, right? They don't give you too much information about it, but a lot of people made money off of this conflict, right? Let me ask another question. Did American corporations make huge profits off the Iraq war, right? And they still ain't answering. Fucking, I hate this Google shit, man. It be capping, man. Right? Did American companies and corporations make large profits from the Iraq war, and if so, how much? Right? So it says we're waiting for it to load up. It says, yes, many American corporations, listen to this, many American corporations made very large amounts of money from the Iraq war, but it is important to understand how they profited, mainly through government contracts to support the military, rebuild Iraq, supply fuel, and provide security. It says the Iraq war cost the U.S. trillions. The overall cost of the Iraq war, in which Esau, he pushes war because war is a racket, it makes money, and when blood's flown in the street, profits can be made. It says the overall cost for the United States is for the Iraq war in the United States was 2 to 3 trillion or more, which included military operations, reconstruction, and long-term veteran care. Major corporations that profited. These companies received billions in government contracts related to the war. Halliburton, KBR, one of the biggest beneficiaries. Its subsidiaries, Kellogg, Brown and Root, KBR, I remember them, handle logistics for the U.S. troops, estimated at $39.5 billion in the federal contracts tied to the Iraq war. Services including building military bases, feeding soldiers, fuel, transport, laundry, and infrastructures. Defense contractors, weapon companies. These firms sold weapons, aircraft, and military systems used during the war, right? Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics, Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed, and Martin. Across the world, war on terror, hundreds of billions in Pentagon contracts went to these companies. And a lot of these companies are shell companies for elite bankers, right, in their ilk. And they make money off the blood that's flowing, right? And this third world war is no different. But the only difference is that you ain't going to be able to spend that money because your wealth is going to be destroyed with this world war, right? But right now, they're making money, right? America is tanking. So what they do, they start another war, right? They start another war to create more money, put more money into the system, into the hands of the elite, right? On top of the fact, your lives are getting wasted in it. And they're shipping off thousands of troops right now to the to go fight in Iran. It says the U.S. is deploying 5,000 Marines and sailors to war zone in Iran as bombing continues. Let's play this.
President Donald Trump sharing video of a bombing attack on Iran's Karg Island. That's home to Iran's main oil export hub. And we've also learned the U.S. is deploying 5,000 Marines and sailors to the war zone. Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Fisher joining us now following all the new developments tonight. Michelle?
Mark, 2 weeks into this operation, there are few signs that things will end anytime soon. This despite promises from the president, who tonight is vowing harsher attacks on Iran's oil infrastructure.
And it's another thing, too. This war is not going to end overnight. It ain't going to end very soon either. It's going to funnel into something bigger, which is World War III.
If Tehran continues blocking ships in the Strait of Hormuz.
New footage tonight released by President Trump on X showing the U.S. bombing Iran's Karg Island, which handles 90% of the nation's oil exports. The president saying the U.S. didn't wipe out oil infrastructure, but obliterated military targets there.
Their Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, most of their military is gone, their big threat is gone in every way.
But Iran is fighting back 2 weeks into Operation Epic Fury. Iran ramping up attacks on oil tankers and shutting the vital Strait of Hormuz, impacting global oil supplies. Gas prices rising with a national average now 72 cents higher since March 1st.
You're going to see a very big decrease in the price of gasoline, gas, anything having to do with energy as soon as this is ended.
The president unable to predict a timeline.
How long now do you think the war is likely to last?
I can't tell you that. I mean, I have my own idea, but what good does it do? It'll be as long as it's necessary.
You see that? It'll be as long as it's necessary, bro. They're trying to make money. They're trying to, like we did, me and a brother Kahan, we did a video a couple days ago on, what's this guy named? Lindsey Graham. And he said what? He said that they're going to make a lot of money. Matter of fact, I'll show it to you. He said they're going to make a lot of money. And they're going to change the Middle East, and they're going to make a lot of money. Let's see. Iran, right? He said they're going to. It says they were fools when it came to Iran. I see the brother Kahan there. Give me a quick second. I'm going to look for this. Yeah, here it is right here.
When this regime goes down, we're going to have a new Mideast. We're going to make a ton of money. Nobody will threaten the Straits of Hormuz again. But Donald J. Trump saved the world from real chaos.
How the nigga save the world from chaos when he's a devil? Hey, shalom, Aki, how about Shemel Shai, Bashar Kakadash Brakatha.
Hey, shalom, Aki, how about Shemel Shai, Bashar Kakadash Brakatha.
How you doing, brother?
Good, brother.
Con. So back to Lindsey Graham, right? He said, what? It's all about making money. He ain't say nothing about the troops. He ain't say nothing about the issue with the veterans. Remember, we just got out, not we, but this country just got, I fought in the Iraq war, right? And in 3 different stages of the Iraq war, I was there, right? So now that was like a little over 20 years ago. And again, I always tell people this story. When I was in basic training, I had a drill sergeant, and he had told us the reality of what we were getting into. And this is in '99. He was like, look, I want to let y'all know we getting ready for war. This is 1999. He said every 20 years we go to war. Every 20 years. So you need to get your mind right and take what you're doing seriously because we're going. And then shit, less than 4 years later, I was in Iraq, man. And we're 20 years later, and guess what's happening? War. Right? And it's not about liberty. It's not about freedom, right? That's all bullshit. That's fluff. It's not about religious warfare. It's not about defending God's chosen people in the so-called small act. No, it's about killing people, shedding blood, right? It's about making a profit when you do that. Like my what's that Nathan Rothschild or Meyer Rothschild say? You want to what? You want to what it says? You want to buy when blood is in
The streets.
the streets, right? Who said that? Famously said by it says the famous saying by when there's blood in the streets, often attributed to financier Nathan Rothschild, illustrates this constrained belief that market disruption and declines can present some of the best investment opportunities, right? And who gets to benefit from those investments? The elite bankers, right? And their ilk, their people, right? Blood is nothing to this man. You got a precept? You got something, brother?
Khan, I don't know if you might have brought this out already in Psalms 55 and 21.
No, I didn't bring it out. I need to bring it up. Hold on. Just bear with me, bro. I'm sorry, Psalms 55 and what, brother?
21.
Khan.
Because ultimately Esau, it has to bring him two things: a profit and a sacrifice to his God, which is Satan, man. This is Psalms 55 and 21. It says, "The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords." Yeah. And you see these politicians, these Edomites, talking about, we're gonna make a deal, but then at the end of the day, they don't do it. And what do they really want? They want to make money. And as you brought out, the best scenario for the elite to make money is when there's blood in the streets, man, because they're gonna profit from the panic of the world, of the markets. They're gonna destroy markets and rebuild new ones. And pretty much what we're entering to this digital era, man, they gotta destroy this economy so that they could build that new digital one to force everybody into going into this digital market, man.
Yep, digital slavery. Yeah, and they're not telling the people that. They got you thinking that this is a war between warring nations, when in reality all the nations are on board with a digital all and digital money, right? And restricted money and programmable money. They're all on board with that. They all get into that dark room with them super elite banking families, and they hear the message, and then they pit each other against themselves. These leaders, the world leaders, they don't have to suffer the way their people gonna have to suffer. The people of these nations gonna suffer, right? Because the average person in these countries, they're just trying to live, right? They ain't even trying to fight nobody. They're just trying to live, right? They have ideas that have been established by their propaganda, but the point of the matter is that they're not picking up and going to these other countries and fighting on themselves. It's the leaders, right? And this is why the scripture says an unjust ruler destroyeth his people, man. Right, I'll get that real quick. It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, verse 3. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. Right? In the GNT, Sirach 10 and 3. In a GNT. Sirach 10 and 3. In the GNT, it says, an uneducated king will ruin his people, but a government will grow strong if its rulers are wise, man. And this ruler, he's wise to do evil, right? And he's playing a role, he's playing a part, right? This guy, he's acting, right? This is what you call acting at the highest level, right? In politics. Politics is a stage, right? But the point of the matter is that he's what part is he playing? An uneducated king, and not educated in so-called academia, but he don't really know how the world works. He don't know how war works. And this guy said he loves war, but never fought in one war ever. and now he's the highest level politician in America, and he's going to be covered, right? He got security 24/6, 24/7, right? He ain't got to go on the front battles and fight no war. He ain't got to worry about somebody coming and taking him and his family out, because all his people got a motorcade. They got security and everything. What they call them people? Special Secret Service, man.
Secret Service, yeah.
Yeah, you see, but he ruins his people because he's not wise, man. He's not wise. Again, it says an uneducated king will ruin his people, but the government will grow strong if its rulers are wise. And I like it better in the KJV, because it's harder. An unwise king what destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. You see, you got something, brother?
That's right. No. I'm looking for some stuff over here.
Keep playing this, bro.
As long as it's necessary.
The president unable to predict a timeline.
How long now do you think the war is likely to
I
last?
can't tell you that. I mean, I have my own idea, but what good does it do? It'll be as long as it's necessary.
As long as it's necessary, and the lives that it's going to cost will be as many as it takes. For what? For policy. This is what Henry Kissinger said, man. He said military men, first of all, let me start right here. It says the illegal we do immediately. Listen to this. The illegal we do immediately, the unconstitutional takes a little longer. This nigga was wicked as shit. He was a Secretary of State, something like that, bro. Right? This guy, he said, power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. And that's what these people are after. They love power. It ain't the money. It ain't the women. It ain't the children. It's the power that they have over all these people. It's the power that money brings, and influence and connections bring. With my man, not my man, but what's his name? Edward G. Griffin in the short movie, not movie, it's like a documentary, whatever, called The Capital Conspiracy. It says, what do you give a man that has all the money in the world? What can you give him? What can he buy? Nothing. So what's left for him? Power over people. Right? Remember, these people, they're trying to establish a pseudo blessing, right? Because we're going to have power over the people. We're going to have power over all the nations. But it ain't going to be because we got money, or it's because we're wealthy, or because we're well connected. It's going to be a blessing. It's the blessing that Yahweh Shemel Shah has given to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, namely Jacob and the 12 patriarchs. Right? And he's going to usher it in through his son. Right? We ain't going to have to chip people to know where they at. We ain't going to have to start these wars and just kill people for the sake of killing people. Let's start these wars that don't benefit nobody except a few. We ain't going to have to do that. So that's what they want, is power. Like Henry Kissinger said, power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. Right? That's what he get off on. So you think that this dude getting off on the actual act, you know, this sadomasochist shit that he do to people, the occultic shit, it's the power that come with it. That's like a rapist. A rapist don't rape people for sex. A rapist rape people because he wants power, he or she. Like you got these teachers, these Edomite teachers across America, molesting their young male students. Right? Why are they doing that? Is it because she's all in love with them? No. It's because she has a seat of authority and power over this individual. So what she do? She corrupt them. She get them early. Right? Because she got the power over them. She ain't doing that to no 36-year-old man. When's the last time you seen a teacher, a high school teacher, molest a 36-year-old man? He can't do it. It's impossible. He gonna smash because he want to smash. Right? But when you got that power over somebody to influence somebody, that's when you get off at. So it says, the next quote is, military men are dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns for foreign policy. And now through something called plausible deniability, they try to say that this guy didn't say that because there's no record of him saying it. But it was heard. He was in a room full of people and they heard him say it. Right? Or people that can be supposedly trusted in this world, right? heard him say it, man, and it's still attributed to this man, right? And this nigga ate boogies. Here it is, this fucking small head, this dirty ass, filthy ass rat of a man. I think the nigga's dead now. Rat of a fucking man, right? Yeah, he's dead. He died in 2023, right? This dude used to eat his boogies, man, in public. You know, that's what they do. That's a filthy person, bro. Yeah, you don't believe it? And you know, I'll make stuff up. I prove everything, bro. Hey, Henry Kissinger eat his boogies. I know it seemed juvenile, but he did. Henry Kissinger's top 5 booger eating moments. Look. He's sitting there listening to somebody digging in his pocket, rolling a boogie in his hand and eating it, bro. He eating his boogies. It says, recent passing of Western civilization elder statesman Henry Kissinger will certainly be covering the front page of all news media today. However, at Wisconsin News today wanted to remember the human side of the man who shaped the United States during the Cold War and beyond. So without further ado, here are Kissinger's greatest hits of an illustrious career of chomping on snot rockets. And this dude is the base man. He's ruling the world. Men like him are ruling other people and sacrificing people's lives to Satan. It says Henry Kissinger delays discussion on Yom Kippur War to sneak some nose candy. In 1973 at 6 a.m., November 6, 1973, Henry Kissinger was informed that Israeli officials about the onset of violence between Israel and the Arab neighbors. But I thought they were the chosen people. I thought them being there was fulfilling prophecy of Israel's return. Prior to contacting the president, Kissinger advocated his duties for up to 3.5 hours to dig for a primo nostril diamond to satiate his savage hunger. So he was digging in his nose for 3.5 hours. He then rushed to awaken the Oval Office to spew hot boogie breath all over Richard Nixon's jolly face. Yeah, this is nasty, bro. The boogeyman. Let's call this nigga the boogeyman, bro. The boogeyman. He's the base of a man, bro. You got something, bro?
No, I'm asking the chat over here if what could possibly go wrong with this whole thing that's happening. But yeah, you know how Issa be trying to program the chat to do certain things, to say certain things. It says that pretty much that it'll only last a couple of weeks. And worst case scenario, if there's disruptions with the Strait of Hormuz, which we're seeing it happen, and more bombings and all that stuff goes, that it could last a couple months, but nothing else besides that.
Yeah,
but we know that that's a lie, man, because ultimately, Iran could do a lot of damage to the not just to the Israeli government or to the Israeli people or the U.S., but globally, man. Yep. Because if they disrupt that Strait of Hormuz for a long time, gas prices are going to go up. A bunch of things. 20% of the world's trade passes through that strait. So it's not just going to affect Israel and the U.S. It's going to be the whole global economy. So countries are going to start retaliating, man. Even the allies of America and Israel.
Yeah, even Elder Apostle Rama said that, they kind of lying when they saying that the Strait of Hormuz is closed, because they said that other nations got access to the Strait of Hormuz except for America and its allies. And that's why Trump is sending 5,000 soldiers to another never-ending war. Right, and that's how this man lives, man. He lives by the sword, bro. Yeah. Right? But like, Benjamin Netanyahu, not a real Jew. He said that they're going to live to see the coming of the Messiah how they're going to usher in the Messiah, or they setting conditions for the return of the Messiah. But it ain't no Messiah for them. It's our Messiah, Yahweh Shai. Right? Because really, Yahweh Shai is setting the stage for this. He's putting all the pieces in order. Like maybe another 6 months to 7 months, we're going to look back on this and say, you know what? We can see where Yahweh Shai was setting the board for what's happening right now at that point. Right? Because I guarantee you 3 or 4 weeks from now, this shit ain't going to be over. It might be abated to a point, but then guess what? A T attack going to happen somewhere in America, and they're going to blame it on Iran. If they don't try to blame it on the Jake, right? They're going to blame it on Iran. Oh, this is the reason. Oh, they did this. Right? What, like last week, supposedly, they showed the images of some guys breaking into supposedly breaking into a military base and stealing 2 drones. And don't nobody know where these people are at. They got masks on their face, but if you look at their eyes, because their eyes not covered, they look like they're Arabs, man. They look like Arabs, man, or some type of Elamite. So it can be anybody. You know what I'm saying? And best believe, like, and they know that the world is simple, right? They're gonna make it something happen, some type of T attack happen, and blame it on them just so they can go into a higher hot war. And then it's gonna get live, man. It can happen in America. It can happen in the state of Israel, right? But it's gonna happen, and it's gonna make this war even longer. That's why Trump said he ain't got no timeline for the ending of the war. First, they were saying, even Benjamin, not a real Jew, said what? That it's not going. The Messiah not gonna come back next Thursday. Right? That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? But you people acting like the Messiah is coming back for you. In fact, they don't even believe in a divine Messiah. They don't believe that. They believe that their Messiah is some dirty ass rat Jew with a black hat who gonna grow up amongst them people and supposedly claim relations to King David, right? And he's like a superhero, a super Jew. He gonna defeat all the enemies of the state of Israel, whoever that is, and then he gonna bring everybody to the Torah, and he gonna build a 3rd temple in one lifetime. So y'all niggas, these people are off, man. Real quick, let me go back to this real quick because I ain't finished reading this. It says right here, the book of Sirach, chapter 26 through 28, where it kind of goes in detail about a soldier who risks his life defending the nation, but later ends up poor, neglected, or forgotten. To him, that is morally wrong. A society should honor and support those who fought for it. In other words, the verse is basically saying one of the saddest injustices is when a warrior who defended the people ends up abandoned and in poverty. And that happens in America all the time. How soldiers were treated in the ancient world. The treatment varied widely depending on the civilization and time period. Some cultures honored soldiers greatly, others used them and discarded them. And that's what America does. Ancient Israel, warriors were generally respected, especially if they were successful, right? King David had elite warriors called David's mighty men. Virtuous warriors received spoils of war, honor, songs, and recognition. Women sang for act of victory. And then it says, in a Roman world, soldiers were highly valued but heavily used, right? Roman legionary typically received salary, loot from war, land grants after retirement. Veterans were often settled in colonies across the empire, but there were issues. Soldiers could serve 20 to 25 years. Many died before retirement, and that happens even today. Some veterans ended up poor if political leaders failed to pay them, and that happens in this world today. This led to several military rebellions. In ancient Greece, the Greek city-states treated soldiers differently. In Sparta, warriors were the highest class in society. Military service was their identity. And remember, everybody's white. Everybody's an Edomite, man. Everybody, where all these white warriors at, man? You had all these so-called white warriors. Where the fuck they at, man? Right? All these so-called ancient societies that were a great people, everybody's white. Which this is Esau anyway during the ancient Greek period, but he wasn't the Spartans, man. The Spartans were Jakes, man.
Oh.
It says warriors were the highest class in society. Military service was their identity, but they did not receive wealth. They lived in communal life. Athens Soldiers were criticized defending their own city. Veterans sometimes receive public support or honor. Still, many ordinary soldiers return to normal life without special benefits. Ancient versus modern treatment of soldiers. Ancient world often honored or praised war spoils, occasional land grants, but there was no systematic veterans care system. In the modern world, in many countries today, including the U.S., there are pensions, veteran health care, disability compensation, housing benefits. I ain't gonna go into all of this, right? But even today, many veterans struggle. Some experience homelessness, psychological wounds like PTSD are common. So the problem has never fully gone away, right? Why it still resonates. It is a shame when a man who fought for his people ends up forgotten. For some, I'm not gonna go there. It's talking about some other shit. Yeah, You got something, brother?
Well, I have this from RT.
Oh, you want to share your screen, bro?
Oh yeah. God. Yeah, these devils, and Trump, he's the perfect proud devil, man.
Yep.
He just tries to, puff at these other nations, man. It says, oh God,
the scripture say he puffed at his enemies, man.
God. This was published on the 13th of March. What are we today? The 16th? Yeah, 16th.
Yeah, the 15th right now. Still the 15th.
Oh yeah, God, 15th.
Yeah.
And it says Trump demands China, other nations deploy warships to Strait of Hormuz. And it says the U.S. President Donald Trump has demanded China, Japan, and other nations deploy their naval units to the Strait of Hormuz to protect maritime traffic from Iranian strikes. Trump's showing you that again. We read Psalms 55 and 21 that his heart is about war, man.
Yeah.
This man, again, everything he wants is profit and sacrifice to his God, Satan, right? And the best way to do mass sacrifice is through what? Through war. This is why they love war so much. You were mentioning how this dude said that he loves war. Why is it that they love war, so-called love war? It's not because they're out there fighting and killing people themselves. No, it's because they benefit from doing these sacrifices to their gods, man.
Yep.
And that benefit is what? Power over the people, more money, influence over these other countries, right? It says Trump simultaneously reiterated his claims that Iran had been totally decapitated and its military capability had been destroyed 100%, which, they went into this so-called conflict thinking that they were just going to smash Iran and it was just going to be in and out. But they've been spending millions of dollars, man, in weaponry and defense missiles, right? Issa's just straight up lying to the people over here on the West, saying everything is okay, but it's really not, man. And this is gonna go again longer than what they've been saying is gonna go. At first, it was a couple of weeks, a few months, and now it's indefinite, or however long it takes us to finish this mess that we started, pretty much.
Yep, and that could be that's indefinite, right? I don't know how long it's gonna last. Well, we know that this third world war is not gonna go no 20 years. Once you got to get that chip off the ground first, right? And they're weakening the people for that.
Yeah,
they're purposely destroying the dollar. They're purposely weakening the economy, right? Shit is, like brother said, shit is high right now, bro. Gas is something that the majority of Americans need, and not only Americans, people around the world, to operate their daily life, just to get to the slave plantation to work and get home. And that shit is astronomical right now in an already financially strapped and strained economy, right? Mortgages are going up, right? People are barely buying houses as it is. But now they're saying mortgages are going to be even high because of some oil and shit. And that's another thing, that the lifeblood of this world is run on oil, man. But you're not even supposed to be drilling it out the earth like that. He ain't supposed to be doing that. It's for that goes in the earth uses it for its own reasons, not so Esau can make petrochemicals and destroy the people with that shit. That's what he does. He's destroying the earth. That's why the scripture says what Yahweh Bashem is going to destroy those that destroy the earth, man. Revelation 11 and 18. When you talk about destroying the earth, they like to say humanity this, humanity that. It's not humanity that's doing this shit. It's the Edomites, bro. The rulers, man. You got something else, bro?
God, this is another article from the 14th. It says Trump threatens NATO members, pushes China for help with Iran war fallout. Israel has launched a ground invasion of Lebanon and reportedly plans to mobilize some 450,000 reservists, while the U.S. president is demanding aid to secure the Strait of Hormuz. And check this out. It says President Trump has warned European NATO members of a very bad future if they reject his plea for help with securing the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran insists.
Tehran
insists the critical maritime energy choke point remains open to everyone except the hostile nations.
Yeah, I just told you which the hostile nations are America and its allies, bro.
That's right.
We just said that's exactly what we just said, bro. You see, so basically he want these allied countries, and it's crazy because China playing both sides of the fence. They on Russia's side and Iran's side, but they also playing games with America. And America thinks that it could just bully people into doing what they want them to do. Right? Talking about it's going to be a very bad future. This is going to be, it's a bad future for you. Right? You're the one, the head of a failing company. America is a failing company. And all these different countries, they're failing companies, right? With presidents and prime ministers above them. And even those with a monarchy, right? Failing kingdoms, right? And it's going to be a bad future for them. What's going to happen? You're going to pull out of NATO? Well, now they're going to get with each other, and then they're going to give me, since you got yours open, get our, what is it, Revelation 17 and 7?
18 and 7?
17 and 7.
Or 17 and 7. So Revelation 17 and verse 7, it says,
Salakia, try 7 and 17. It might be this verse though. I mean this chapter, but just bear with me. Yeah, Revelation 17. Let's go back to that. Scroll all the way down. Yeah. And the 10 horns, 17 and 16.
Revelation 17 and 16, it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
And those 10 horns are those 10 what do they call them, economic nations, whatever, something like that. Well, it's more than of them now, but it's those 10 horns represents those EU nations, right? That's what it represents. And most of those EU nations right now are allies with America, and they're gonna hate the whore. They're gonna throw their nuclear missiles onto America too, as well as China, North Korea, Iran, right? Because I was reading something on ChatGPT where it said that certain things got to happen in order for, in their eyes, World War III to happen, or for what this conflict right now to turn into World War III. And it's basically like if China invades Taiwan, if America sends ground troops into Iran, which they're not going to do that because these troops not prepared to fight like that. And Iran is protected by mountains and all kinds of shit, deserts, especially Tehran. You literally got to fly people in there, and you got to set up infrastructure and all that shit. And they can't do that. They ain't dropping tanks from the sky. They ain't dropping Apaches from the sky. They ain't dropping Chinooks from the sky and troops from the sky and going to invade Tehran. They're not going to be able to get out. Most of them going to die. So they're not going to do that. But what will happen is something's going to happen with the state of the small hats, and that place is going to be invaded by Gog, aka Russia, and its allies. You got it, bro.
God, this is in the book of Obadiah 1 of verse 7. It says, all the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat that bread have laid a wound under thee.
And that's
there is none understanding in them.
And that's your allies. We did in the NLT and the AMP.
In the NLT, it says, all your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land.
Yep.
They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you.
Yep. Your allies going to act like they with you, but in the back, they plotting to destroy America.
That's right.
Right? Because what you causing the trouble. Right? That oil and natural gases, a lot of those Eastern European nations, they get it from those areas over there. They ain't shipping their shit from America like that over there. It costs too much to do that. Right? America's going into these different nations, spoiling them and upsetting them. Not that they're any more noble, because they do the same thing. But now it's time for Esau to go. It's time for Esau to go down, and his capital place is Basra, aka America, aka Babylon the Great. And so your allies will, what they're going to turn against you, and they will chase you from your land. They will promise you peace. Yep, and peace and safety shall what? Sudden destruction fall upon them, while plotting to deceive and destroy you. These same nations that took your money, these same nations that took your defense contracts and your defense promises and all of this, they're going to turn against you. And you got the right devil in office, because when they look at America, they see Trump. I was watching this video about Iran, what it looked like, and they had a U.S. embassy that got emptied out, and it hasn't been a U.S. embassy in Tehran since. But if you go inside the U.S. embassy in there, you got the Statue of Liberty on an American flag with she got a skeleton on her face, and in there, and instead of the stars and stripes, it's skeletons, right? Death, right? And then they got pictures of Trump painted up in there, with the Twitter coming out of his mouth, because he likes to get on Twitter and talk. Yeah, this shit is crazy, bro. I'll show it to you, bro. Let me show this. Let me share this with you real quick, bro. Hold on. Let me. You can finish reading, bro.
God, it says, all your trusted friends will set traps for you, and you won't even know about it. And I believe it Spain. They had asked Trump about using their allies' air bases for the conflict over there with Iran, and he said, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna use them." And well, actually, let me rephrase that. I think it was Spain. Spain said that they weren't gonna let the U.S. use their military bases to pretty much to use it for that conflict, and then they asked Trump that what he thought about that, and he said, "Oh well, we're gonna use them anyway, and whether they like it or not." And then they asked the I think it was the president of Spain or one of the military generals, and he said, "Well, whoever tries to come into our airspace without authorization, we're allowed to shoot them down." And these are allies to America, man. And that's the thing. Babylon the Great, they think they could just go anywhere and do whatever they want, and to an extent they can, because they hold some sort of power over these nations. But again, the scriptures tell us that these nations are going to turn against you, and something's going to happen where these nations are going to say, you know what, fuck that shit, man, let's just turn against it. And this is what we're watching for, man. This conflict, what the world calls a conflict, this is prophecy in the making, man. And we're just slowly watching and picking out what the Lord is giving us through the Spirit.
This is let me share this real quick, brother. Like the Zaquan was saying right here, you got You got these was it the 10 horns represent the common markets of the European Economic Community, EEC, which is now the EU, established in 1958. Today, the EEC is known as the EU, the European Union. And the 10 nations are these ones: Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain, and Portugal. And the brother was just speaking about Spain, right? England, Ireland, West Germany, which now is Germany. I think Luxembourg and Germany, those are all the same thing now, right? And then just in the beginning of the year, Denmark had an issue with Trump talking about he want to take Greenland from him, right? So these people they're getting all kinds of reasons to hate this whore, right? And the 10 horns represent what? Germana Major, Germana Minor, the Romans, right? The French, the Spanish, the British, the Greeks, right? These are the different rulerships of the Edomites, right? It came first as the Greeks, then they transformed to the Romans, then from there Germana Major and Minor, and then eventually to the Spanish, and then the French, and then the British, or to the French, the Spanish, and then the British. And who came out of Britain? America, the Great Whore. Okay, and the beast system represents the Roman Empire, which is the Edomite Empire that we're in today, right? The 7 governments or the kingdoms ruled by Esau. Right? So this man had plenty of time to rule, and every time he ruled, it just got successively worse over time. With every rulership, it got worse and worse. You got something, brother?
No, I'm just reading down this article, trying to pick some stuff out of here.
And I was gonna bring this. This is what I wanted to show you right here. This is the video that I was watching about Iran. It says right here.
And this is clearly Trump and Twitter. And Trump's tongue is inside there. Oh, his tongue is inside of Twitter's coming out of his mouth. Yeah. And this is the boots, American boots. You got a trigger over there. For the trigger, okay.
Yeah. They didn't speak about it, but right here, they got the American U.S. Marines as the clowns, and they represent the military. These people represent the military. They call them clowns, man.
Oh, his tongue is inside of Twitter's coming out of his mouth. Yeah. And this is the boots, American boots. You got a trigger over there. For the trigger, okay. Yeah. And then this is CNN. The snake around the CNN, yeah. The snake. So that news is a snake tongue serpent, right? Around CNN, and this is like a Americans did it.
The Americans did it. This 9/11, right? You see the plane hitting the tower. It said Americans did it. Americans did it. The Americans
did it.
The Americans
9/11.
9/11.
And you can see the USA Embassy emblem there. Immediately when you walk in, you are greeted by the lovely.
And look, and this is what they got, which he couldn't keep filming in there because it's like a museum over there now and shit. Right? So look, you see it right here, down with the USA. Right? That's what you think. This shit is crazy. And this is what that whore looks like, man. Death, man. Yeah. And then they got the skulls here where the stars would be. They got the skulls there, man, representing death. Because that's what America is, the purveyor of death. And, you got something, bro?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's crazy because that's how these other nations look at Babylon the Great, man. They see it as a country of war, destruction. But the people that live here, man, they see it as, a place that is just so upright and there ain't nothing bad that they could do. But in reality, man, like we always say, Babylon the Great is the biggest importer of wickedness, man.
Yeah,
and
exporter.
Exporter, there we go. It's like exporter of wickedness, man. And it starts with what? With the sword. They've always ruled. Babylon the Great has always ruled by the sword, man. Ever since it was established, it's been at war.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they say that like out out of the whole many years that this place has been in existence, for 221 years, it's just been at war. And now they at war again. All the country know is war, bro. And mind you, Gad didn't bring this. It was Esau that brought it. Not saying that Gad was all peaceful and it was a damn utopia, but it wasn't this shit. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't this shit. It wasn't this. You got something, brother?
No, I had something about the UK refusing to give help to.
And then you saw that scroll down Lebanon, the Israelis, they're going into Lebanon now. They're about to start the ground war in Lebanon. They just got out of Gaza. Right? They're trying to take over, they're expanding their territory, their Edomite territory, bro. Scroll down. Right. Scroll down some more. Some more. It was a picture underneath of this.
Or here.
No, keep going. Right there. Oh. Israel starts ground operations in Lebanon. Right? These are Edomites, but yet they say that they're the Lord's people. All they know is war. All they do is kill. All they do is steal and lie. The thief cometh not but to kill, steal, and destroy, man. And these are all bells of war. It's ringing. But like Yahushua said in the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 6.
Well, this is the book of St. Matthew 24 and 6. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
Yeah, I was talking. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginnings of sorrows.
Right. And I was talking to somebody earlier, they were like, they're worried about being by themselves, and that because of the condition of the world, they're scared. I was like, man, it's supposed to happen, bro. I'm not scared about this shit. You know what I'm saying? But they take it like we don't take what's happening seriously, but it ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't fighting no wars for Esau. Right? I'm focused on prophecy. And this is a part of prophecy, as the scripture says, all these things must come to pass. So you got people trying to stop the war, you trying to stop prophecy. You got people trying to find some comfort. Like, this shit don't bother us. All things are expensive. It's been expensive, bro. We in captivity. We're subject to payments. You know what I'm saying? This thing ain't like Yahushua said. We ain't supposed to what? It says what? Don't be troubled. We're not supposed to be troubled by this. Can you read that verse in the NLT and the AMP, verse 6?
Okay.
Getting all scared and jacked up in the spirit, depressed, sad, scared. Well, wait a minute. If you so depressed and sad and scared, why you ain't seeking after the Lord? Why you ain't seeking after Yahweh Shai? Why you ain't inclining to the words of the prophets? Because you don't see the men that are telling you the truth as the prophets. You just see us as regular men. Your friends, your boyfriends, your brothers, somebody you know. But here it is, we pay more attention to what's going on globally than you do. The only time Americans hear anything about what's happening globally is when it affects them. And if people are feeling the effects in their pocket and your leadership don't give a fuck. Your people crying, oh, they spend trillions to go to war, but they won't spend trillions to help the poor. They don't care about the poor. The poor is not on their agenda. Poverty and drugs and all this other shit, they don't care about that. You got it, bro.
That's right. Yeah, and that's part of, the Lord told us that he that wants to save his life on this side will lose it. Yeah. Right? And all you people, man, are worried about this life. You want to save your life on this side. This is why they're worried about all these things. Well, you should be focused in what the Lord said. Oh, these things are end time prophecy. This is the end of the rulership of the heathens. Shit, be excited, man. Obviously, you're gonna get a little scared because of the flesh, but you should be comforted in Yahweh Shema Shai, man, because this is it, man. We about to end this captivity.
We about to go.
That's right. We about to go home. The
We about to
reason
go
why
home. I'm sorry, brother. You got it.
the reason why you're upset about your wicked rulers and you not having enough to to get by is because we in captivity under the Edomites, man. But you don't want to get out of their clutches. Like, what? That's crazy. Insanity.
Yeah. Well, it's like work is over, but niggas trying to stay on the job and do overtime.
Yeah.
We about to go home, nigga. You trying to do overtime, nigga? Everybody trying to stay here. We going home. You know what I'm saying? Fuck out of here, bro. Like, no. You got people like that trying to be a company man, bro. Ain't no benefit in being a company man, bro.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is the book of St. Matthew 24:6 in the NLT. It says, and you will hear of wars and threats of war, but don't panic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't panic. You got it, brother.
It says, yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately.
But the end won't follow immediately. That's why certain things have to happen for this third world war to get the flowing. Right? It is flowing. It is. Because there's been irreparable damage made right now. They smoked the leadership of the Iranians, bro. They kidnapped the leadership of Venezuela, and that nigga's still in prison. Him and his wife eating Zuzums and Wham-Whams, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Fucked up in a dark, dank place with criminals, man. In a country that don't belong, that they're not even from. You know what I'm saying? This nigga killed the leadership, bro. You killed, and then they saying that Bibi is out of here, but then they claiming that the niggas are lies, so nobody really knows the truth. In a world of lies, nobody knows the truth, man.
Right.
Fucking nuts. That was it on that right there.
You on the AMP?
Nah, it's cool.
No. All right.
Right there. No, brother.
Oh, no.
All right. Let me play this again.
Pentagon now deploying 5,000 Marines and sailors on 3 amphibious ships to the Middle East. Military officials saying the deployment does not mean the service members will be used on the ground in Iran, but they have that capability. And tonight, we're awaiting the identities of 6 U.S. service members killed when their refueling tanker crashed in Iraq yesterday. 2 KC-135 jets were involved. New images from Can 11 showing damage to the tail of the second, which landed safely in Israel. Military officials say the jets were in friendly airspace over western Iraq when the crash happened for reasons that haven't been disclosed. The Pentagon saying it was not hostile or friendly fire.
War is chaos. And as we saw yesterday with the tragic crash of our KC-135.
Yeah, you niggas is losing. You niggas is losing. Killing 6 people. Well, that's a satanic number here, right? Remind you, these niggas ain't warriors. This nigga, Pete Hegseth, don't let this faggot with his greasy ass hair, his fake muscles, fool you like he's some type of warrior. He is not a warrior, bro. He ain't do shit on the front line. Yeah. He was not involved in the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. This nigga was like in the National Guard. That's where the elites go to. They send their ilk to them. But these things happen. Fucking your jet hitting each other and shit, bro.
Yeah, they in Miami and shit, chilling.
Yeah, chilling.
Well, everybody's at war. Fucking
drinking, being pedophiles, murdering people, and having sex with each other, orgies and shit. Getting drunk while you dying in you fight like a motherfucker in that sandbox, man.
Anchor. Bad things can happen.
Bad things can happen.
American heroes. All of them.
Heroes.
Ohio's governor on X sharing 3 of the 6 service.
Yeah, so you got that, then you got this right here.
Troops to the Middle East. It comes as more additional troops to the Middle East. It comes as more U.S. service members have died in the region. Local 10's Ross Ketchke, live in D.C. with the
death, bro. The Third World War ain't even get off the ground yet, and your soldiers are dying, bro. Which really you being sacrificed, but you're dying, bro.
Very latest, Ross.
Louis, U.S. officials say this deployment will include U.S. Marines and another attack ship, all now heading towards the Middle East. And this is all coming as President Trump still has not ruled out the possibility of putting boots on the ground in this war with Iran.
That the United States is decimating the radical Iranian regime's military in a way the world has never seen before.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the United States is continuing to deal critical blows to Iran as the war stretches into its fourth day. U.S. officials now say the military will deploy an additional 2,500 Marines and another attack ship to the Middle East as fighting intensifies.
We said it would not be a fair fight, and it has not been.
The news of additional troops comes as the U.S. death toll climbs to 13. All service members on board are refusing.
Another satanic number.
Flight died in a crash in Iraq yesterday. The Pentagon says the aircraft was not brought down by enemy or friendly fire, and the crash is now under investigation.
Bad things can happen. American heroes. All of them.
Meanwhile, large crowds taking to the streets of Tehran for Al-Quds Day, an annual protest against the state of Israel.
People came out today to tell the enemy that we are not afraid.
Some of the crowd carrying...
You know that's a heathen. Look how big that nigga hat is, bro. Look how big this nigga head is, man. You can tell he is not an Israelite, man. Look how big that nigga. Look at that brim, big as shit, man. Bugged out, man. Bugged the fuck out.
Afraid.
Some of the crowd carrying posters of Iran's newly appointed supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. The U.S. government is now offering up to $10 million for information on him and other Iranian leaders.
We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely...
You see? It's a devil. Look at it, Satan. He looked like a fucking demon.
Disfigured.
Iran's government says more than 2,000 people have been killed since the start of the war, including more than 170 in a missile strike on an elementary school that appears to have been fired by the U.S. The Pentagon says it is...
Now it appears. It was the U.S., nigga. Why would Iranians drop that big-ass missile, Tomahawk missile, on their own people? That don't make no sense, man. They're not Americans. Look how big this damn missile is, bro. Fuck, man.
Like on an elementary school that appears to have been fired by the U.S.
Which they said that supposedly the elementary school had the children of the elite politicians there and leaders.
The Pentagon says it is investigating that attack, but Hegseth is insisting the U.S. does not target civilians.
We don't target. Iran does. We will investigate.
Hey, liars. You ain't going to investigate shit. What's going to come to the investigation? Oh, we found out that what our leaders did it, so we're going to lock them up. We're going to put them on trial. Fuck you, man. Man, bro, you see, that's why when you become a veteran, bro, you realize, unless you like truly indoctrinated, it's all bullshit, man. It's all bullshit, bro. These people are liars. And back then, you couldn't see it because we were asleep, right? We had that mask on. Man, bro, it ain't worth it, bro. It ain't worth it, bro.
We'll get to the truth and we'll share it when we have it.
We'll get to the truth and share it when we have it. You ain't never going to have it. You're never going to have the truth. U.S. sends Marines to the Middle East.
Environment over there.
Tonight, Vice President J.D. Vance...
Obviously a very chaotic environment over there.
Tonight, Vice President J.D. Vance addressing reports that Iran's newly appointed supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, has been injured in a recent attack.
We don't know exactly how bad, but we know that he's hurt.
It comes as the U.S. government is offering up to $10 million for information on Iranian leaders as the war stretches into its 14th day.
Good morning.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the United States and Israel are continuing to hammer targets inside Iran, while U.S. officials confirm an additional 2,500 Marines and another attack.
Yeah, man, it's all bullshit. It's the book of Isaiah. No, I want to bring that out. Let me get this. Joel chapter 3, verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahushua, and will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land. And that's what the Lord is doing. He's gathering the nations to the valley of Yahushua. That valley of Yahushua is not some little small area in the state of Israel, right? Map, Middle East, right? That valley is what you call Saudi Arabia today. This is it right here. This is gonna be the main theater of war right here, right? And that's why everything's starting right here. This is the Strait of Hormuz right here. This is the Yeah, this is the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, this is the Strait of Hormuz right here that they're fighting over right now. And the state of Israel right here, they're going into Lebanon. They're going to Syria to these different areas and shit, right? And then it's ultimately going to end right here. The Lord's going to gather all the nations to do battle here. And this is also the area where Yahweh Shai is going to fly back. He's going to come back with the angels. And he's going to destroy their militaries in this place. They're going to try to fight against Yahweh Shai around here. Watch. Okay? This is what it's doing. This is why all these wars are starting. These are wars and rumors of wars, but yet they're being positioned to do battle over here. And they're going to come to America too. America's going to be invaded too. Right? Revelation 11:14, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. That's the third world war. The second woe was World War II. And this war is going to be even more dangerous. Right? This war is going to be even more dangerous. Okay. Isaiah 9:5, for every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And you seeing that all these missiles, these nuclear missiles, that's the fuel of fire, bro. Right? That's supposed to be the last option, because they already know that's going to cause cataclysmic loss. But it's going to come to America, bro. It's coming. All of this destruction is coming here, because this place is slated to be destroyed. Right? I don't care what you say. Pete XF. Pete, Pete Haggleseth. You know what I mean? You out of here, bro. You're done. You Edomite. Fucking devil. You got something, bro?
Oh God, I'm looking for that precept that says, these things shall come to thee. The loss of children, and
widowhood. Revelation. Hold on.
Isaiah 47.
Yeah, Isaiah 47, 9 and 11.
Okay.
Through 11.
This is the book of Isaiah 47 and 9. It says, but these two things. Well,
I don't think that's
I'll read verse 8. I'll start at verse 8. Isaiah 47 and 8. It says, therefore hear now this, thou that art given into pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. And this is, Babylon the Great. Again, many people here, they don't think that an invasion of America is possible. They think that because they have this so-called great military that they cannot suffer a loss, right? But the Lord has another plan for you. It says, but these two things shall come to thee in one moment, in one day, or the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments.
Yeah, so, and that witchcraft. That's that witchcraft.
Yep.
He had some dude named Secreto. This guy says cult shit, and then I go to his page, and the nigga ain't got nothing but one video about nothing, and then he says right here it's actually World War V now, because World War III was Russia and Ukraine, and World War IV was the Israel genocide. People just talking stupid, bro. Right? People just say anything. I mean, somebody said the pot stirring to simmer. That's right, before boiling, exactly. And that's what's happening. But you got people here who don't know what they're talking about, who just, it's crazy, man. Because when this shit really happened, bro, I guarantee you people are going to be flooding these videos, bro. They're going to be flooding these channels. They're going to be like, oh, it's saying what is happening.
Yep.
The word cult just means worship anyway, right? New Testament is hilarious. You see that? Just people just come in there. A lot of these are bots, man. Like I said, I'm on this dude's page, and he got a video about nothing. It ain't about shit. It's some space. I don't even know who this guy is. How do you even find these videos, bro?
For real.
I don't even know how they find them. I don't, man. And you got so many people are so immature and so unwise and simple-minded, right? You know, you let them, they get access to your comment boards, and all they do is scoff, man, or just talk nonsensical shit. And you see that on I see why some of these main platforms cut off their comments, man. Mm-hmm. I see why, because they just get flooded with a bunch of immature people when the real life shit is happening. You know what I'm saying? And then people you joking at the wrong thing. But when your calamity come upon you, we're gonna laugh at you, nigga. Because I see everything that's happening. Every idle word that you spew, that's what you want to have to answer for that. You got it, bro.
Okay. Back in Isaiah 47:10, it says, "For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me."
Yeah, this man, he believes that he's the Most High. All his wickedness that he's done, all his so-called wisdom, which is nothing but wickedness, and that's not wisdom. It's witchcraft and wizardry, and make him think that he's above everybody and that there is no God, there is no power. That's what he says. But yet you playing on the left-hand side of Yahweh Shem Shai every day. But yet you denying the Lord. You got it, bro.
Verse 11, it says, "Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth."
Yeah, and that's because of your pride. It's going to come and you ain't going to know where it's coming from. You're going to think that, oh, yeah, those got to be our assets on the ground. But in reality, it's going to be natural people that's doing this, natural situations happening through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. If you cannot, you're going to be able to rationalize it. You got it, bro.
And mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know.
Yeah, that's right. You ain't going to know. Yeah. Go verse 12.
Verse 12. Verse 12, it says, "Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail." And as we know, Esau, he's used witchcraft and sorcery to what? To persuade the masses of the people into what? Into war, man. Because all of this doesn't just happen because they just want to do it. No, they got to deceive the world into doing this, man. They got to deceive the military man into dying for them. They got to deceive the masses of the people in their countries to what? To pretty much pay for this war, man. Because who's paying for all this war? The people, right? And why? Because they're with it, or because they're forced into paying taxes to do, to pay for this stuff, right? And all of that is what? Part of their sorcery, their witchcraft. But the Lord is gonna judge them for this. And that's why it says that, "Go now to thine enchantments." When the Lord brings his judgment, there's not no sacrifice, there's not no ritual that you could do to Satan or any other demon that's gonna deliver you from the Heavenly Father's hand, man.
That's right. Yeah, none of that's gonna save you. All that shit you've been prospering off of is not gonna help you. Your astrologers, your stargazers, your prognosticators, they're not gonna give you counsel that's gonna help you survive this shit. You got it, right.
It says, "Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now thine astrologers, the stargazers, and the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee.
Yeah.
Behold, they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. there shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it.
Yeah. And ultimately witchcraft is not going to help you. See if they could bring you up out of this judgment that Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai has already levied upon you. And you don't understand that everything you're doing, you're playing right into the hands of prophecy. You can't stop it. Even if you wanted to, which you don't, you can't stop it. Right? Your elites, from the elite bakers to their monkeys in political suits, right? These people that they have, your world leaders, they're not going to help. They can't help themselves, right? All they see is the the pride that's before them, and that's part of the Lord hardening their hearts, right? You fighting a war, nobody's fucking with you, man. I can see if Iran struck America and it was like, oh, it was really because so much shit happened on the inside. It's hard for you to believe who did what, but they didn't do that. But yet and still, the Lord put the spirit on this devil, this cruel Lord, to do what? To go run up in there and do what he did. Right? And he's trying to call world policy because it's America. They puff it at they enemies. Like, shh, I wish you would try something. Shh, we got this, we got that. And the average American's simple mind, oh, we could just nuke them off the map. Why don't we just nuke them? Why don't we just nuke them? Nigga, you ain't never seen a nuclear explosion. You about to. You don't really know what that's going to entail for these places, man. Or just nuke them. While you sit at home drinking a fucking Budweiser and your dirty shirt fucking your sister. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, what? No, like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're asking for, but the Lord's going to bring it to you.
That's right.
In those places, the Lord's going to nuke America. Turn this bitch into a microwave, bro. That was it, bro.
Okay. Well, we could hit this 15. It says, thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter. None shall save thee.
None of these nations going to save you. None of your allies, none of those merchants that you did business with, they're not going to save you, man. And watch how your leadership abandons you, average everyday Americans, bro.
That's right.
Trump's going to be out of America. He's going to be going somewhere in a bunker, right? All of the real leaders, the main leaders, they're going to be out of here, right? These senators, these wealthy people, they're going to be on their jets, running to these islands and shit, trying to hide, right? The super elite, they're already chilling. They laid back, watching it all unfold, laughing, drinking blood, killing people, doing whatever they do on the ground. Watch how you so-called, oh, they don't know we're mad. And that's why when the nuclear missiles hit, when they come over there, y'all, it's gonna be death on your faces, man. How could this happen? No, why? We telling you why. It's a judgment of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
Right? It's part of World War III, baby. Right? You ain't gonna go into a sovereign place and kill a whole bunch of people and then think that it's just business as usual and shit. There comes a time where it ends for you, man. Okay, and so with that, this has been the bells of war are ringing, World War III, right? Keep your eyes open, right? Keep focusing on the truth, right? Keep your faith, stay prayed up, right? Stay faithful. Do what you need to do through the spirit power of Yahweh Bashim Shai so you can get out of here.
That's right.
Or will. And so with that, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wahara Kapadash. Double honor to the apostles and the bishop elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to the elect. Keep pushing, keep striving. We almost out of here. Hey, shalom, brothers.
Hey, shalom.